Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Harimadacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Harimadacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopagopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai New Govardhan Dham Ki Jai All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 21, Instructions by Maharaj Prithu, Text 52. So this is the last verse of this chapter. So we probably won't see this chapter for some time, some years. Because we started the Bhagavatam, I remember this round, we started it when Bhakti Vikas Swami was here. I don't remember when he was here, because he started the first verse, I remember that. So it has been some years, so. Okay. Instructions by Maharaj Prithu. Namo Vivriddha Satvaya Purushaya Mahiyase Yo Brahmachatram Avishya Bibratidam Swatejasa Namo Vivriddha Sattvaya Purushaya Mahiyase Yo Brahmachatram Avishya Bibratidam Swatejasa Namo Viridha Sattvaya Purushaya Mahiyase Yo Brahmachatram Avishya Bibratidam Swatejasa Okay, word by word. Namaha. All obeisances. Vivridha. Highly elevated. Sattvaya. Unto the existence. Purushaya. Unto the person. Mahiyase. Unto one who is so glorified. Yaha. Who? Brahma, Brahminical culture. Kshatram, administrative duty. Avishya, entering. Bibharti, maintaining. Idam, this. Sotejasa, by his own prowess. Translation. Dear Lord, you are situated in your pure existential position of goodness. Therefore, you are the perfect representative of the Supreme Lord. You are glorified by your own prowess. And thus you are maintaining the entire world by introducing Brahminical culture and protecting everyone in your line of duty as a Kshatriya. Purport. Without the spread of Brahminical culture and without proper protection from the government, no social standard can be maintained properly. This is admitted in this verse by the citizens of Maharaj Prithu, who could maintain the wonderful situation of his government due to his position in pure goodness. The word Vivriddha Sattvaya is significant. In the material world there are three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. One has to be raised from the platform of ignorance to the platform of goodness by devotional service. There is no other means for elevating one from the lowest stage of life to the highest stage but the execution of devotional service. As advised in the previous chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, one can raise himself from the lowest position to the highest simply by associating with devotees and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly from their mouths. Shrimvatam Sukata Krishna Punyashavana Kirtana Shidyantasto Yabhadrani Vinanoti Saritsatam. When one engages in devotional service in the first stages of hearing and chanting, the Lord, who is in everyone's heart, helps the devotee in cleansing his heart. Bhagavatam 1.2.17. In the gradual cleansing process, one is relieved of the influence of passion and ignorance and is situated on the platform of goodness. The result of association with the qualities of passion and ignorance is that one becomes lusty and greedy. But when one is elevated to the platform of goodness, he is satisfied in any condition of life and is without lust and greed. This mentality indicates one's situation on the platform of goodness. One has to transcend this goodness and raise himself to the pure goodness called Vivriddha Sattva, or the advanced stage of goodness. In the advanced stage of goodness, one can become Krishna conscious. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu is addressed here as Vivriddha Sattva, or one who is situated in the transcendental position. But Maharaj Prithu, although situated in the transcendental position of a pure devotee, came down to the position of Brahman and Kshatriya for the benefit of human society, and thus gave protection to the entire world by his personal prowess. Although he was a king, a Kshatriya, because he was a Vaishnav, he was also a Brahman. As a Brahman, he could give proper instruction to the citizens, and as a Kshatriya, he could rightly give protection to all of them. Thus, the citizens of Maharaj Prithu were protected in all respects by the perfect king. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 21st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Instructions by Maharaj Prithu. Om Ganativedandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunanmaditamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karidavachalam Bhangam Nangaite Girim Yadkripa Tavaham Vande Shri Gurun Niditarinam Pancha Kapladubhishcha Kripa Sandhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama. So I'll read the translation again. Dear Lord, you are situated in your pure existential position of goodness, therefore you are the perfect representative of the Supreme Lord. You are glorified by your own prowess, and thus you are maintaining the entire world by introducing Brahminical culture and protecting everyone in your line of duty as a Kshatriya. So Prabhupada would give the example about, he would say, there's three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. And he would say that these can be compared to wet grass, grass, and dry grass. So, the mode of ignorance in terms of trying to light it on fire. So, the mode of ignorance is compared to wet grass. So, it's very difficult to light that on fire. So, in other words, if someone is too much influenced by the mode of ignorance, it's difficult for them to become Krishna conscious. And mode of passion is compared to regular grass, which it could be lit easier than wet grass. And dry grass can be lit very easily. You just, right? We have so many. It's not funny. So many fires, forest fires, and fires burning down houses, and so many things. A lot of this dry grass, right? Dry environment. So it could be lit very easily. So if one's in ignorance, it's compared to wet grass. One's in passion is compared to regular grass, and one's in goodness is compared to dry grass. So the idea is we want to become more situated in goodness, because if we're more situated in goodness, then it'll be easier for us to become Krishna conscious. And similarly with propagation work or trying to spread Krishna consciousness, it's easier to make people or to help people be Krishna conscious who are in the mode of goodness, and less easy for those in the mode of passion and ignorance. And both. Because if you're in the mode of goodness, yeah, that means you're more likely to be heading towards Krishna consciousness, so it's easier for you to preach. But also for those on the, you could say, those who are trying to give Krishna consciousness to, it's easier for them to accept it if they're in the situated mode of goodness or have largely influenced by that. And like one time, Prabhupada, I think he was in Germany, and he was preaching to a bunch of hippies, and they were completely spaced out, and then, you know, when you're speaking with someone, you could tell, okay, is this? I mean, there's some, say, indications that somebody's getting it or not. You know, that they're understanding, that you're communicating. Just like, you know, there's life in people's eyes, right? There's life in people's, there's symptoms of life in people's eyes, right? Some, you know, photographers, for example, they'll take pictures of people's faces, right? Just the idea is to see the life in their eyes, because there's different, right? So if you look at like a buffalo, for example, or a buffalo or a, you know, donkey or something, you look in the eyes of buffalo or donkey, you know, there's not much going on there. You know, it's like, it's just, you know, they're lifeless in so many ways. It means not much going on upstairs. Like you try to have a conversation with the donkey or something, okay, so you understanding? And the guy's just like looking at you. It's not understanding. Huh? What do I get against donkeys? Nothing. Okay. So Prabhupada was speaking with this big group of spaced out hippies, and eventually Prabhupada just told the devotees, okay, these people are useless. He stopped speaking and he said, just do kirtan and feed them the prasadam. So it means they're useless in the sense of grasping what's being said. You're just like, yeah, they're not getting it. You know, too much lower modes, right? I remember Tirthamaj, she said that he went up to, I don't know if it was Bellingham or someplace up there, but the devotees invited him to some like yoga center or something. He said that there was a bunch of hippies there and they were just completely spaced out. He said he was trying to give a talk and it was very difficult, you know, because they weren't, you know, paying attention. So the point is that if one is too much in the lower modes, then it's difficult, just basic forms of communication, because they're not understanding, they're not getting it. You know, their head's too much up in the clouds or wherever it is. So therefore, if someone's in goodness, it means they have the ability to be thoughtful. They have the ability to think. Their mind is not completely bewildered by, you know, passion, by all types of passionate desires for, you could say, sense gratification and so many other things. And if they're not in ignorance, means that their brain is working. They're not like brain dead. It's, you know, their intelligence is a lot sharper or refined. So therefore, the idea is that if we ourselves try to live in goodness, then yeah, we have a better chance of understanding. and making progress towards pure Krishna consciousness. So therefore it's important for us to try to live in goodness. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, it tells us how we're supposed to raise ourselves to the mode of goodness. And it has this verse here, Shinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana. So one who engages in hearing about Krishna, it says Krishna who's in everyone's heart, helps the devotee in cleansing the heart. So in other words, Krishna cleanses the heart from the modes of passion and ignorance. Or like Srila Prabhupada said one time, he said, by tapasya, you get a new brain. So, means that our brain, you'd say a way of looking at it is that our brain, due to living in a particular way, you could say we have a particular brain or a particular whatever. So Prabhupada said by tapasya you get a new brain, and Srila Prabhupada would sometimes be, he would be attacked actually, he'd be criticized and attacked for taking young children in the eyes of their parents. You're taking my young children, 18 years old, 21 years old, and they have a bright future and so on, and you're taking them and turning them into some type of, in their eyes, weirdos. Just like, I heard back in the 60s and 70s, if people just shaved their head, it was just considered like, what's wrong with these people, Like, I guess people didn't do that very often. Nowadays, right, anything goes, but not back then. So shaving your head for the men, what to speak if we had the women do that, right? But shaving the head for the men, and these guys wearing bed sheets, and jumping up and down on on Fifth Avenue, and like, oh my God, what is this? Look at my sons out here and doing this, and wasting their life. They could be making so much money. So, and they really were really disturbed about it. They sent people to capture the devotees, deprogrammers, and throw them in a van, and take them to a local hotel and try to convince them that what they're doing is wrong, and you should go back to your family and accept the right fundamental principles of American way of life, right? Give up this weird cult Krishna business. So Prabhupada was attacked. But interesting enough is that although Prabhupada was attacked, it said that he would get like more energy. And he would say that if we're being attacked, this is a good sign. He says this means they're feeling the weight of this Hare Krishna movement. And he would say, therefore we need to propagate our brainwashing books. Prabhupada said that. He liked it. He said, yeah, we have our brainwashing books. Means that Prabhupada would sometimes say brain giving also, right? So we're talking about tapasya gives you a brain, so gives us a brain. So brain giving means that by Krishna consciousness people get a brain, or by Krishna consciousness it cleanses, right? Brainwashing cleanses brain from all types of junk. So Prabhupada would get more energy from these attacks. And he would just use their words and their slang for his own purposes. So therefore he's our acharya, right? So brain giving, brain cleansing. And I was going to say something else about Prabhupada in relation to that. Anyways, I'm forgetting now. So the idea is that yes, Krishna consciousness. It will purify us gradually. But some devotees, they bring up the point that when we say gradual, it kind of means like slowly, like, oh, gradually we'll become advanced. But how gradual is gradual, right? We don't want gradual to become too gradual. Like it's just kind of taking too long, right? So in reality, it doesn't have to be too gradual, but yeah, gradually. But we should try to speed it up, you could say. We should try to speed it up. Glacial? In glacial, the definition of glacial just really slow. Like some people, like molasses, right? So we want to become advanced, and we want to become advanced as quick as possible. And therefore, we have a process, and that is Shinvatam Sokata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana, that by engaging in hearing and chanting about Krishna via the Bhagavatam, then we could become advanced. And so many other things we're doing, we become advanced. And if we don't do that, then yeah, the math is simple. You don't have to be a big scientist or genius or mathematician. That you won't make advancement. we won't make advancement. Just simple as that. So Krishna consciousness is not rocket science. Srila Prabhupada would say, in many ways it is very simple and it is very easy, provided we just follow the simple, easy method. So, and what's the sign of advancement? Here it's being stated that by association with Krishna, by the association of devotees, one gives up or one loses their lustiness and their greediness, which are products of the modes of passion and ignorance. Now, when they say lust and greed, lust means desires, means material desire. And there could be many material desires of different kinds. And greed means that we have desires and we may fulfill those desires, but we want more and more and more and more of that, of whatever it may be. So they go together, lust, greed, and also anger goes together with these two. They're all working together to defeat the soul. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how does that poem go? Anyways, I can't repeat it now. I'll say it another time. But but in that poem he's saying that, therefore, dear soul, do not let these soldiers of hate and lust ruin your life. Don't let these soldiers, knock you down and finish you. So, lust, desire, and then greed, more and more and more of that. So, in terms of anger going along with this, okay, we have some lust, we want something. And then, if we're not able to get it, or we may get it, and then we want more of it, but we're not able to get more of it, then we become angry, right? Like, I don't know, there's burritos this morning, so you have, I don't want to say lust, but whatever. Just, someone may lust over a burrito, okay, you get the burrito, then you get it, right? And then it's got no cheese or... yeah. And you say, I want some more, right? I had one, maybe you have two. There's some devotees actually, they have like 4. I saw one devotee have 5. It's like, well, he used to have 4, but there's one devotee who had 5 one morning. It was like, oh my God, this is a lot. And he specifically did it. Anyways, I'm not telling you who it is, so it's not embarrassing to the individual, but he specifically did it as kind of like a revolt. Like, when someone tells you, hey, you need to like chill out a little bit. Maybe you should kind of go on a diet or something like that. So someone kind of told him, and he's like, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. He just ate like 5 burritos really fast, like in 10 minutes or something like that. Anyways, whatever. So, but if somebody wants one burrito, they get it, and they want two, right? And let's say they go back for the third one and it's not there, but they really wanted it. So what happens? They become angry. My desire is not fulfilled. Or depressed. Yeah. Turn it inward. Yeah. So by the modes of ignorance and passion, these types of things happen. And by goodness, one is satisfied, as it says here, in any condition of life. It doesn't matter. Get a burrito, you don't get a burrito, you whatever, this, that, doesn't really matter. Yeah, you accept things as they come, as Krishna's arrangement, or as something you need to deal with. And we should always note that each of our stages of life that we're going through, because we're all going through different stages of life, if you haven't noticed. Maybe you've noticed that. You know, once we were a baby, we're not a baby anymore. If people, just as a side note, but if people did what they did in this country and other countries, they'd be in big trouble in terms of criticizing political leaders, not just verbally, but graphically. How they, oh my God, and it's quite amazing how they're able to do that. Like my nephew, he's 5 years old. He was here the other day, Clayton, you know, the little kid with the dreads, and I went over to visit them, and they had a little like baby, and like you pull the cord, and it kind of like moves a little bit, but the baby, it was a baby, but whose face did it have on it? Yeah, our president. So if they would do that in other countries, it'd be in big trouble. So they get away with it somehow. Anyways, they stole it. In London? Oh, really? Wow, amazing. He had my little nephew got it via 5-finger discount. You know, he stole it from the store. Anyways, he's 5 years old, so whatever. Maybe he could get away with it a little bit, but eventually he has to give it up. So yeah, we were babies at one point, and then you know, we become a little older, 5 years old, 10 years old. So each of those stages of life, we have certain desires, right? We have certain desires. And then we become 15, 16, there's certain desires, right? You know, like for a man, when they become 15, 16, you know, they start realizing, hey, there's such a thing as girls, and somehow or other I'm really interested in them, attracted by them all of a sudden, right? And girls also think the same thing about boys. Oh, they're not just, when they used to sing the songs. When you're a little kid, you used to sing the song, right? Like, sorry, I don't want to, gross anybody out, but it's like greasy, grime. That's what boys are made out of, right? Greasy, grimy, gopher guts, and all this type of stuff. You know that song? Does anyone remember that song? No? You heard it? You never heard it? Really? Has anybody heard that? You heard it? Oh, I guess I must be from... Oh, okay. I can't believe no one heard that song. Okay. Yeah, could. Okay, well, we'll get into that song later. But the point is, in that song, which I'm surprised no one heard, but in that song it says boys are made of all types of just nasty things, and just really gross things. And girls, they're not made of that. They're made out of, all types of wonderful things. So anyways, the point is that the boys and the girls, they don't want anything really. They just get away from me, But later, they want They're interested in each other. So, and then later, so there's different stages of life, and in those stages of life, certain desires are manifested. And like at one particular stage, a lot of people, they feel urges to get married, they feel urges to, get a house, build things up. So there's all these different urges that happen. So the fact is that our life is just full of desire at every moment. We're always desiring things. Like this morning, everybody desired to come here to the temple. Whether it's from their rooms or from their houses, they desired to come here. And even if they said, well, I didn't really want to come here, but I just know it's good for me, so I came. Okay, well, you at least eventually had a bit of a desire. Well, I don't really want, but I should, and okay, I will. So there's a desire there. So, and today we'll have so many desires, right? Throughout the day we'll have so many desires, and then tomorrow we'll have desires, and then forever we'll have desires. So the idea is to somehow transform our desires from material to divine. Divine doesn't mean like, divine surfing or divine golf or whatever. Not like that. But divine means Krishna, means Krishna consciousness. And to come to the point that really I don't want anything else besides Krishna consciousness. So that's an important point to come to. And also, earlier this morning, I said to one devotee, he told me, he said he had a particular preference. And I told him, who cares about your preference? Now, it wasn't just like some emotional, personal attack or something, but it's actually a philosophical point that who cares about your preference? Okay, on one level, just think about it dispassionately in this big world of people. Who really cares? Who cares about my, preferences or my opinions? Maybe my mother. Who cares about my feelings? Maybe my mother. Maybe a few other devotees. Maybe. But when it really comes down to it, how much are people, how much is humanity really willing to sacrifice for good old Balarama Dasa? Not much, I don't think. But aside from that, it's a philosophical point. Who cares about your preference means that, yes, we do have certain preferences, or you could say we do have certain desires, but if those desires, you could say, get in the way of our service or get in the way of what we should be doing, then yeah, who cares about it? In the sense that it's not important. Like if you in the material world, if you try to call in too much, saying you're sick, you say, "Oh, I'm sick," and then next week, "Yeah, I'm sick, and my preference is I don't want to go into work, and I'm sick," and you keep on doing it. Eventually, you're going to say, "Okay, we're sick of you calling, and now you're out of here. We don't want to deal with you anymore. You're fired." Right? So it wasn't a personal attack. It was just a philosophical point, and it wasn't a big point, and I was just joking, actually, more or less. But to come to that point that, yes, I'm not going to let anything get in the way of me being Krishna conscious, specifically these modes of material nature, because they do get in the way. Ignorance and passion. That is the main block. That is blocking us from our, from Krishna consciousness. So here it's being stated, okay, how do we remove that block? How do we get out of this, you could say, prison of the modes of material nature? This prison. And it says by hearing the Bhagavatam. So someone may say, I don't have taste for hearing the Bhagavatam. And I say, okay, well, you're unfortunate. You're unfortunate if you don't have taste for hearing the Bhagavatam. And then, okay, well, should you just leave it there that you're just unfortunate? Well, no. You should become fortunate. And you should at least you should, or the person should at least with their intelligence say, okay, well, I don't have much taste, but I know it's good for me, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to accept the medicine because I know it's good for me. And over time, the medicine becomes nectar. The medicine becomes complete nectar. What is it? Sat Krishna Nama Chara. Yeah, that Rupa Goswami says that one should very carefully hear and chant Krishna, the form, pastimes, all about Krishna, very carefully every day. And at first, it tastes very bitter, like some bitter medicine. You know, sometimes you boil, like you have, like in Chinese medicine, for example. You know, they have you boil like sticks and leaves and all types of berries and all this type of stuff. I mean, some of it's pleasant. Some of the tea and medicine's pleasant, but some of it's like, oh my God, you know, boiling all this stuff. And then you drink it, and then you feel good. You feel better over time. So, but with this medicine that Rupa Goswami is saying, the holy name and pastimes of Krishna and all that, he's saying that the medicine itself, because that Chinese medicine, I think a lot of the times people don't end up liking it, you know, means the taste. But with this medicine, the Krishna consciousness, over time it becomes sweeter, 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 sweeter. And then jaundice is cured, means it doesn't taste bitter, it tastes sweet, provided we do that carefully every day. So that's there, that if someone doesn't have a taste for it, okay, fine, we'll develop a taste for it. And we'll develop a taste for it by engaging in it. Just like exercising, sometimes people don't have a taste for exercising. But if they engage in it over time, it actually gives them results, and they feel good about themselves, and they like it. They end up liking it. So that's the idea. And there's so many options. If somebody doesn't like hearing my class, okay, great. I don't. What is it called? I don't blame you. Then listen to somebody else. There's hundreds of Bhagavatam, thousands of Bhagavatam class givers, and they may speak, more sweetly than me, or whatever, more philosophically than me, or whatever it may be. Fine, listen to them. Or if you like listening to me, okay, listen to me. But listen to Bhagavatam, that's the point. And to do it every day, to listen, at least hear one Bhagavatam class a day. You may not come here to the temple, you may not every day, but you could tune in. And if you don't want to tune in again to this Bhagavatam class, then tune into another Bhagavatam class, or get some recordings. There's so many nice speakers. We could give you a list of the different qualified or authentic, or you could say most sought after speakers. And in this way, we can nourish ourselves and raise ourselves more and more to goodness and more to pure Krishna consciousness. So this is Prithu Maharaj's qualification. He wasn't just some passionate leader, some passionate king, but he was qualified transcendentally because he would lend his ear to the messages of Krishna. So that's how we become qualified. We have to lend our ear and also our mind, because we have to control our mind too, because mind goes off, so we have to control our mind, focus. And that's mode of goodness helps with that. All right, so does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes. Good morning to you. Hare Krishna. I don't know if that thing's on.
So this morning started out very interesting. I called my friend, and he's sick right now, very sick. So
what time did you call him?
He's in Arizona, and I get up early. He gets up early. So anyway, he asked me to pray for him. He's not a devotee, and the first time your lecture is interesting today, because first time he heard about, I've been coming to the temple since 1970, but first time he heard me that I'm going to the temple, he says, Hare Krishnas. Oh, I don't like them. I said, why? He says, they brainwash people. So when he said that, it was kind of very interesting. But then I explained to him about the Vedic knowledge and Prabhupada and how he came here and the message and everything. Then he toned down, he's fine. And then I've taken him to Las Vegas, Govinda's, and also Govinda's at LA because that was my base home. So he liked it, and one day he attended the prayers, the arti.
Oh,
and I said, good, now you took the holy... Now you've taken the holy fire. Now you're purified.
He's Indian?
No, he's white, American.
Okay.
So anyway, cut the story short. I've gone through a hard time, and he's seen me come to the temple and how relieved I am from prayers and Krishna. And he sees me. He hears me that I'm here every day, or watch it on YouTube. So anyway,
oh, you're one of our regular watchers?
I flip back and forth from here to LA.
Oh, okay.
I can't decide. I go back and forth.
We're competing, huh?
But I was telling him that your cameras and the voice, oh my God, crystal clear.
All right, good.
LA, the vision is not as good as here. This is like beautiful. So if I don't see it, I get up at 4:30 and I watch you guys.
Okay.
But anyway, so he's sick. He's very, very sick. So this morning, he goes, would you say a prayer for me at the temple? I said, sure. So it's amazing to see of how from brainwashing to, to him coming, and it made me feel so good that somebody got touched, somebody got enlightened by Krishna consciousness, and he genuinely meant it. And then I asked him, when the time comes, would you mind if I do the Hindu? Because you have to ask, you have to respect other people's beliefs and stuff. So I asked him, would you mind if I do the prayers in Hindu when the time comes? And, so, he goes, yes. So I said, good. So you're purified now, I told him. So anyway, it was such a good feeling, from brainwashing to somebody asking for prayers. I mean, I've got goosebumps now, Yes, and what you're saying about associating with devotees, this, I'm not the perfect devotee, by the way, but still, it reached out to this person, so.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be going to India end of the month. I'm going to go to Natwar, the holy place for Krishna. And I will be also going to the Jew temple. So I hope... No, the Jew temple in Mumbai.
Juhu.
Yeah, we call it, in Indian we would say Jew, so anyway. So I've been there many times, so I love the temple there. And I haven't been to the Mayapur one. Really? I'll look it up, because I have an extra week. I may end up going there. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this point you said, I'm not a perfect devotee, just by the way. So, yeah, I mean, there's most, you could say, aren't perfect devotees. But even if we're not perfect, we could still encourage others, actually.
Yeah.
Like everybody, they should get some of Prabhupada's books, $50 worth. That's 50 books, small books at least. And then, you're at the doctor's office, you're out shopping, grocery store, this, that, you're at your work. You could give a book, potentially, to someone. You never know. Some people, you're talking to someone, and, I think about meditation, yoga. I have this book here, and I give them a book. I remember I gave one of my first books out to my mother's friend's son. And years ago, I gave him A Journey of Self-Discovery. And I remember I gave it to him, and I also gave one to my father's, means not my mother, my father's new wife, or whatever, stepmother, I guess. So I gave one to this guy, and I gave one to her. And I remember it was one of my first books I distributed. And I felt so much ecstasy, actually. I felt so much bliss just giving a book. So, he's got a book, He's got the book. So it's important to try to give out books. And about the brainwashing, I thought of something that my guru, he was in India many years ago as a young brahmachari, and he came back to America because he's a little sick, jaundice. So he came back to America, and he stopped at his parents' house in Chicago. And his father was a big judge in Chicago. His mother was there. And eventually he didn't feel so comfortable at home, so he went to LA to recover, and then eventually went back to India. But while he was there at his parents' house, his parents invited like a psychologist over to talk with him. So she was talking with him, and so what do you think about your parents? And then he would answer from the Krishna conscious point of view. Oh, what parents are you talking about? Are you talking about the ones in the last life, or this ones, or which one? So he would do all the questions. He would answer all the questions like that. And then, so she realized that, oh, we're not getting too far here, speaking. So then she went outside, and then my guru said that he heard her speaking with his parents. And he's saying, yeah, I talked to Glenn. His name is Glenn. Yeah, I talked to Glenn, and I don't think he could be cured and of his problem. And then my guru, he told Prabhupada that my parents sent over a psychologist, and she said I couldn't be cured, and Prabhupada said, yes, that's true. Giriraj can never be cured. So anyway. Yeah, his father offered him a large sum of money.
So thank you.
Yeah, he just said he just wanted them to act. He wanted my spiritual master, just his son, my spiritual master's father, wanted him to come back to America and just stay in America, by the temple or something. He said, oh, we have a trust set up for him, and can he come back? And then Prabhupada said, yeah, that's fine. He could sign the papers from India, that's what Prabhupada said. And then Prabhupada said, oh, what do you think, Giriraj? Would you like to go back? And my spiritual master said, no, I want to stay here in India, with you, Prabhupada. So he said, okay, well, so he just stayed there. So yeah, in essence, he rejected the money, large sum, $1 million, something like that.
So thank you very much. Can we all just say a Haribol for my friend Bill? So he's Haribol.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
We hope that Bill gets better, and then he becomes more Krishna conscious. Okay, last. Okay.
How does anger or wrath evolve into greed?
Anger or wrath evolve into greed. I don't know if it's usually evolves into greed. I mean, well, yeah, it's usually the opposite. It's opposite. Yeah, from lust comes greed. And then when greed and lust aren't satisfied, you become angry. So it's frustration of desires. You have desire, we have desire. It's not, which means lust, strong desire. And then we have greed, we want more of it. And then if we don't get it, we become angry. So, yeah.
The other gentleman who was here, who's now gone, he told me that at the local library here, right down the street, that today is recycling day. And apparently he saw that they have a whole bunch of Bhagavatam volumes that they're going to trash today. So we should try to get over there as soon as possible after breakfast. It opens at 9:30. I'm just checking it right here. So we should try to, and they'll give them to us. And we can save them and give them out or something, So we should try to save those from being destroyed. You can remember that?
Yeah. What's wrong with these guys throwing away the Bhagavatam?
I'm sorry?
I said, what's wrong with these guys? They're throwing away the Bhagavatam? I can't believe it. All right, Dhamarash.
You were explaining how one who develops the mode of goodness, it's easier for them to take to Krishna consciousness. And you mentioned how Prabhupada said by practicing tapasya, which brings you to the mode of goodness, you get a new brain. Mm-hmm. So you're developing like a type of intelligence.
Yes.
But we know one who is like by all means, influenced by the mode of ignorance and passion. They also have a certain type of intelligence.
Yes.
Professors, whatever, they're breaking all the regs. They're influenced by the lower modes, but they have a certain type of intelligence. So the question is like, what's the difference between the intelligence that develops from the mode of goodness and the intelligence that one has even though they're influenced by ignorance, and why is the intelligence in goodness better? Why is it more conducive?
the intelligence that one develops by Krishna consciousness actually produces something everlastingly good, which is, first of all, just the bliss of Krishna consciousness, just be happy. That's what everybody wants. They want to be happy. Whereas intelligence, just in the lower modes of intelligence, it doesn't really produce happiness, because the activities one engages on based on having that intelligence are just not divine. They're something else. Yeah, they're misdirected, so one can't experience the happiness. So if one gets, you could say, spiritual intelligence, then yeah, all of their desires, all their aspirations, everything is just geared towards Krishna, which produces happiness for themselves. It's good for themselves, it's good for others. Krishna's happy with them, so it's like they go back to Godhead. It's like it's a full package, right? So.
Describing how lust, is the thing that forces us to do things that we know are bad. So you have your intelligence, but the karma takes over the senses, mind, and intelligence. And so the senses are pulling you to do something, the mind is pushing you, and the intelligence is also infected with lust. So it's just figuring out, because that's what the intelligence does, the means how to fulfill the desire. So this is how the intelligence can be in the mode of ignorance, when it's just overcome with illusion and laziness and anger and dirtiness, like that. It can happen. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki